All right, welcome back. Today we are continuing our little quest to find out what you can build with roof tiles. So you saw the thumbnail. First thing is I built a sawhorse. So this is refined wood right here across the top. It is shroud wood going from the tarred shingle roof block, and then one single little roof piece right there, just right there, which is the plant fiber roof. I suppose you could do that as tarred roof or something else. It doesn't really matter. And this is as low as you can get them. I know it seems pretty high. I mean, that's pretty tall. But you can't go any lower if you're building on a substance, so wood, stone, or anything. If you're building on the ground, you might be able to, because this is only 2 blocks high. I'll show you how to make all these. So the next thing is, and this comes from, once again, Chisel Chip's video. I was watching his live stream yesterday, and he was showcasing the 2 locations that he's looking to build his Hobbit-like village. And I'm sitting there, I'm laying in bed, getting ready to go to bed, and I couldn't get out of my head, how are we going to build those vaulted roofs with the rounded beams that you see in the entranceway to Bag End? And then I thought about it, and I came up with a decent solution, I think. So I'm going to go by the lines and show you spacing. So this is a mock-up of what you would see for the ramparts of a castle. So imagine the castle's here, and you come out, and you're on the ramparts, and you're in here, and you're firing down. You got your crenulations that you can hide behind, pop up, fire an arrow down. Obviously, there wouldn't be a pit, but I had to have something to make it look like a wall with spikes. I said you could probably do that to a wall, and I did it, and it looks decent. It's not perfect. We'll show you once again how to make that, and because I want to move every other one up 1 notch to give it some variation. And I left this side open so you could see the detail of how it works. There is the roof block up in here, the roof tile, and then once you have made this, you can delete the middle beam that you attached these to. It's kind of weird that it stays when you do that, but it does. So this is 1 block spacing, and what I mean by that is this. So if I go over here to this guy, and let's just go back up to castle wall block, I attached these to castle wall block, 1 square wide, so 1 singular wall, 1 by 1. But once they're placed, I can take them off. You don't have to have them, and it gives more depth to the ceiling. So, okay, it's not exactly rounded, but it does give you a really interesting look to it with wooden structure. Unfortunately, you cannot clip the wood. That's why this side looks really weird, how it comes up. They both started exactly the same. But how this goes up 2 blocks here, I had to do that because if you start coming across, let's say I come across here, this turns into a standard roof. I don't know why exactly it does it. Probably because we're not supposed to be doing what we're doing with this to begin with. But so I would have to come up right here, then go in 1 and up, and etc., just like I did with the other side. And then it gets a little weird in here. So you see on this side how it goes right up to that edge. This side goes into it. It kind of like goes over the little lip of the edge. And it was the same. I built them exactly the same. So it's kind of off just a little bit, the 3D model, I guess. So then I decided, okay, well, this would be gorgeous for ramparts. I mean, this makes a really cool outdoor ramparts. Obviously, that part would be covered. And it just looks fantastic. But I think this is pretty narrow, especially for something like the entranceway in Bag End. So if you separate it by 2 blocks, and then you attach this on the outside of the 2 blocks, then you get a little bit wider beam. This is shroud wood here. And if you take off the last little bit, so I originally had it... Come on. Right, because it was 2. I originally had it like that. And then I went ahead and took off this last piece, this Shroudwood does this, but only on 2 blocks wide. It gives you a little bit sticking out, and this gives you a little bit wider space. So you'd have a room that goes from here to there. So it's a little bit better, but I still don't think it's quite enough for Bag End's entryway. I'm thinking 3 blocks is the trick. You can remove the center piece, but you can see right there and right there, I still have that plant fiber roof chunk. But you can remove the one from the middle. So this is 3 wide. This gives a much strong, and now it'd be a little bit higher up, obviously. And then you'd have walk in the door from this beam right here, or if you went up a little bit, and also I deleted the middles, you could have that chandelier hanging down, the candle one, and that would work as what Gandalf bumps his head into when he comes inside. 4 is where it gets a little weird because they don't cross over anymore. And this is half timbered block. Half timbered block does not look bad at all, but I think Shroudwood looks better. And this one I think is definitely wide enough to do what we would want to do for an entranceway in a place like Bag End. It's just, they kind of meet, sort of, but it's not quite right. Granted, you can't really tell from the inside, so maybe 4 would be the trick for you. And that would give a pretty nice wide entranceway, and then you can do the hallways a little narrower. So then, what else can we do? First off, whatever the hell this thing is, it's like a death mask or something, right? It's kind of like a tribal mask, and this is what you can do with it off the corner of your buildings. So go Vikings go, and you can do these things. Now, this was a complete accident of mine. I found this out while I was building those, and I misplaced a block, and I'll show you how you do that. Then there's this guy. This reminds me of the way they used to stack hay and their wheat and all that. They would bundle it together, tie it at the top, and it would be sitting there in the fields waiting for someone to go harvest it. So if you had wheat, now I can't do it here because these are only 2 wide. If they were 3 wide, I would take out a middle, place that in the middle of it, and I think it would look perfect surrounded by wheat. Like several of these things just kind of dotted around. Maybe you have a pretty decent sized wheat field. I think several of these mixed in there would look like certain portions of the wheat had been harvested, and I think that would work really well. And then this bad boy, so the way, let's look in how you make these. So this is 3 high, this is 2 high. So we'll do the 2 high first. That's literally as high as we're going. And then we're going to put this here. Did I just do that wrong? Is that 3 high? Three high, I'm sorry. 3 high, not 2 high. So there's how you get that. And then that makes this one 4 high. Oh yeah, and then this too. I was patching something up and I had the wrong block on. I'm like, hey. I mean, obviously we already knew that you could put different types of stones together, different materials together, but that's kind of cool. So if we go back here, let's go to 4 high. 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to show you that you can remove stuff. I'm going to take off the bottom 2 because we don't need them, but I do have to do something else. I have to add 1 there, and I'll explain why. I'm not going to do it yet. I'll show you. So as I was doing these over here, and as that spine comes back, because I was building these, right? Just like we did, just like this one, this building has in it, this little ramparts. But in that, I had these going back like this because I was doing every alternate one to get that look. And instead of placing it here, I accidentally placed it right here. Watch what happens. Isn't that neat? So that gives another entire way. Now you can come back here and I can go... I can take this piece off, but I don't think I can take this one. It's going to let me get all the way down to 1. Or if I'll take this one too. Nope. Alright, so lets me get all the way down to 1. It's not really going to matter because most likely people are going to put them on their buildings. Just like that. But it's really cool, and it gives you something different. Now, the other thing you can make with this that also works for the fields, you already know where I'm going with this. So, like with this thing in the field, what if you had a semi-plowed field that you're still working on? This time we're going 3 high. 1 back. Now you got a plow in the field. So you have a hand plow that you're moving through your field, and you can imagine like maybe behind it you have the fertilized farm soil, in front of it you've got grass and dirt. So you can actually make it look like you have a plow in your field that you've been working on the field. So there's a lot of really cool things that we can do. Oh yeah, I was going to show you one last thing. So on that I used tarred straw roof. So let's go ahead and take this one off. And instead of having it at the base like it did, let's go up 1. And out. No, 1 higher. And see, I must have had that one over there lower because I can't actually get, I was right, you can't get that out because it turns into a roof. So that must go over here, what you saw in the other episode where I took one out and said, made a lawyer out of me. That means I have a block. I do, it's right there. I have a block down lower. Okay. So yeah, now you can get these defensive spikes. Use whatever you want. I just happen to use... No. Back. There. And... there. Not that one. So there you go. So now you can have alternating... Now that looks much better. Alternating defensive spikes in front of your ramparts. You can have this really cool detail over your ramparts with your crenulations. I would even make the crenulations something different, a different material, so that it stands out better. And of course, I would have them out, and I would have matriculations as well. But that's for a different video. I hope you guys like it. I enjoy coming up with all these really cool things. This thing's awesome. I love this. It's really neat. Thanks for watching, everybody.